Timberg on her first attempt at 15.5 and a half. You saw her go clear on the last bar, but she would get another big time make the fourth.
'Cause you're everywhere to me. When I close my eyes, it's you I see. You're everything I know that makes me believe.
Okay, positive vibes surrounding the Scarlet Knights basketball program heading into the weekend. Jerry Carino article yesterday, I believe, with the headline, "There's an energy in the building." And I guess it's palpable, the feeling around the program, not just excited about the incoming class, but the overall energy of the program and the different pieces that make up this team. Coach Peichel this year took a different approach, said they were on top of the transfer portal situation earlier rather than later. Remember last year we lost kind of, hit on the blind side by Cam Spencer going to UConn, eventually becoming a national champ. And Paul Mulcahy going to Washington. We lost two really important pieces. We couldn't, Coach Peichel, not successful at combining what he had left into a cohesive, consistent unit. Much happier this year. A quote from Jerry Carino's article: "One of the biggest issues we faced the last few years was free throw shooting. Absolutely, positively the case. Not sure why that's the case, and maybe why it took so long to figure that out." Said that was something they prioritized in the portal, and they didn't want to look at guys that couldn't shoot free throws. And we've been horrible forever, with the exception of Cam Spencer. Shot not 90 to 91% range. At one point, he was like number one in the nation halfway through the season. Nonetheless, PJ Hayes, 79%. Zach Martini, 83%. Tyson Acuff, 81%. Jordan Durkak, 72.5%. So Coach Peichel has more positive feeling about that, and also with experience, because we have a high-flying class coming in. They're going to be younger guys, and they're going to be playing and learning alongside some guys that have pretty good experience, and Zach Martini and Jordan Durkak. These guys, don't forget, they both, Martini beat us at Princeton and won league titles, and Jordan Durkak also won titles at Merrimack. So we have the grizzled veterans who can shoot and shoot free throws and be tough and determined, which is another aspect that Coach Peichel likes in this team, wanted in this team. Jersey guys that were going to be gritty, determined, and tough. They weren't just going to be finesse-type players. Although you could really argue Zach Martini, kind of a fluid, sophisticated player as far as his passing and shooting, and in foul shooting. You can characterize him as being a finesse kind of player, but he's going to be a little tougher than we think. And Durkak obviously can play on both ends of the court. Nonetheless, the quote is, "We wanted kids who are tough." The guys who stayed, Jeremiah Williams, who I love because he's got that grit, and determination, gives the team energy when he's in there. I just feel better at that position, which we haven't had in the past couple years. A real leader at that position who can just light things up, give the team energy. And so whenever he entered the game, I always felt better than that. Obviously, Williams, JaMychal Davis, Emmanuel Ogbuy, these are all guys that Steve Peichel considered toughest on their roster last year. So he likes the toughness, the ability to shoot free throws, and the veteran leadership that's coming into this class through the portal. I'm a little hesitant. I'm not sure that Coach Peichel can bring different pieces. You remember last year that we're talking about how we're going to play a different kind of game. It's going to be a speedier game. It's not going to be a slow half-court game. We were going to have a Indiana Pacers type offense running up and down the court. Didn't quite work out that well. So when Coach Peichel talks about not having a center and having versatility this year, you have the size, versatility, and athleticism to rotate guys in and out of the center position. including in the mix will be Emmanuel Obolik, 6'11", Lathan Somerville, who's 6'10", Zach Moratini, even though he played some center at Princeton, only 6'7". Maybe he'll be 6'8". Only averaged about 3 rebounds a game. So my view is, if you have 3 centers, you have no centers. Again, you remember the early '80s Chicago Bulls teams, late '90s Chicago Bulls teams who had a 3-headed monster at center out of necessity. And Steve's philosophy is that he can take a piece of each, and if you add them all up, it'll be a center. So he says in Emmanuel, he can block shots and he's healthy, and he sees that he has some upside, but he seems to be like he's going to be the rim protector, defensive stopper guy. Lathan Somerville can shoot and pass, and he said we haven't had that at the 5 spot, and it's kind of true. We haven't. Cliff was great, but passing out of his position and shooting well was not one of his strong points. And with Zach Martini, you get sort of a fluid, offensively focused, smooth guy who can shoot from mid-range, long range. He can shoot 3, can shoot free throws. And that's also part of what Steve is considering in having a 3-headed monster. His quote was, "You can't get everything you want. It's not fantasy football." Absolutely true. But he wants to be able to play 5-out basketball as opposed to always just having a guy in there like we've had with Cliff. And that's kind of a trend now where teams, whether it be the NBA or in college, are looking at positionless athletes to have on their team. And it's good, I guess, if you can mix and match. You can manage minutes better that way without losing, a whole lot of ability, athleticism, or competency at the position. And you could also load manage that way. But, in the end, I think if you have to do it out of necessity because you're missing a piece and they still have one scholarship to give, that would be a little bit of a concern for me. But I'm not losing sight. I think Somerville is going to be a stud. I hate to see that scenario where he's really a power forward right now, but they have to put him in at center as a necessity, almost like when you're on the offensive line and you have to move a guy around from left tackle to right tackle. Will he be as effective? We'll see. Nonetheless, positivity around the program. We have guys that absolutely have the potential to play, but I'm a little concerned about Steve being able to pull together the veterans, the experienced guys out of the portal, the high-flying recruits that we have coming in that are top 5 recruits, that are younger guys, great skill, great athleticism, and also be able to mix and match the different styles of having fluid offensive players that can shoot free throws and shoot from 3, which absolutely has been a shortcoming the past few years, with guys who are a little more gritty, a little more determined, a little more defensive focused. They're going to play inspired basketball. The big question will be, can Steve mesh the personalities together and fit all the different styles of play together, different types of games that they play? That will be the big question. I'll be looking out for that. Little bit skeptical, but I like Steve a lot. Good guy. Does it the right way. I almost think, though, he's more comfortable under-recruiting guys and getting them to play over their talent level. We won 20 games with 2- and 3-star guys. So we'll see where this goes. Things are certainly looking and feeling positive. And before we go, Rutgers has another national champ, the first one since Anthony Ashnell and Nick Sirianno. Chloe Timberg makes history in the pole vault, 15.5. Her previous best was 15.1. It's our first national champ in that event, or in track and field, I believe, since 1982, which should have been about when I graduated college, but didn't till much later. But that's a story for another day. Nonetheless, congratulations to her. Rutgers needs to do focus a little bit more and seek to market alternative sports and Olympic style sports. Guys, remember the controversy surrounding cutting the Olympic sports because the money wasn't in the budget. They had to focus on football and basketball because those are the two major sports. But I really think focusing on, I hate to say minor sports, but Olympic sports, alternative sports is a way that you can kind of build a foundation for the program and quite frankly become like Stanford. They lead academically and across the board in all kinds of sports, including Olympic sports. Great job by Chloe for becoming a national champion. Let's have a toast to Chloe and another national champ. Everybody enjoy your weekend, and we will see you the next time. Eric LeGrand, don't forget, Eric LeGrand Bourbon. You got to support.